When people talk about the China-Pakistan economic corridor, they usually talk about roads, ports, and billions of dollars in investment. But rarely do we ask a more fundamental question. Who actually moves the cargo? Who keeps the corridor functioning once the headlines fade? Because infrastructure on its own does nothing. It only matters when logistics turn concrete into commerce. And this is where Pakistan's strategic perspective on CPEC begins. CPEC is not just a bilateral project between Pakistan and China. Strategically, it is Pakistan's attempt to reposition itself in the global trade system. Geographically, Pakistan sits at the intersection of South Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, and Western China. Yet for decades, this location remained underutilized. CPEC changes that. By linking China's western regions to the Arabian Sea through Gwadar, Pakistan becomes a transit state, not merely a destination. That means shorter trade routes, reduced shipping time, and alternative pathways that matter deeply in a world where supply chains are becoming increasingly fragile. But here's the reality. No corridor survives on geography alone. Highways, ports, and rail lines are visible. Logistics operations are not. Yet logistics determine whether trade is predictable, scalable, and secure. CPEC moves across some of Pakistan's most challenging terrain: mountains, deserts, border zones, and long inland distances. Managing this requires not just trucks, but institutional capacity, security coordination, and crisis response capability. This is where Pakistan's existing national logistics framework becomes strategically relevant. And this is where the National Logistics Corporation quietly enters the picture. NLC is not a private startup created for CPEC. It is a decades-old national logistics institution, originally built to handle strategic supply chains under pressure. Within the CPEC framework, NLC's role is structural, not symbolic. It supports inland freight movement linking ports to upcountry markets, border and transit logistics for cross-border trade, dry ports and logistics terminals aligned with corridor routes, and infrastructure execution in sensitive or high-risk regions. This matters because large-scale corridors fail when logistics fragmentation increases costs and uncertainty. From Pakistan's perspective, having a state-backed, commercially operated logistics entity ensures continuity, reliability, and strategic oversight, especially for projects of national significance. It's not about ownership of CPEC. It's about operational stability. Globally, successful trade corridors from Europe to East Asia rely on strong national logistics institutions working alongside private enterprise. Pakistan's approach to CPEC reflects this reality. NLC's involvement helps reduce coordination gaps, support security-sensitive logistics, maintain consistent service standards, and align commercial operations with national trade objectives. This is not a story about one organization. It is a story about how Pakistan is learning to connect infrastructure with execution. Because in the end, CPEC's success will not be measured by kilometers of road, but by how efficiently goods move, markets connect, and trade flows sustain themselves over time. And in that equation, logistics is not the headline, it is the foundation.